Hi there. I'm Mark Plunkett, the pastor of Heritage Presbyterian Church. This is our weekly devotional for the week of October 21st, 2020. For today, let's go Old Testament. Old Testament. Let's go old school. Let's go back to the first 5 books of Moses. And especially, let's focus on Leviticus. Leviticus is a book supposedly written by Moses that has all kinds of rules and regulations and laws for the ancient people of Israel. Now, if you look at Leviticus 19, it has a whole list of things, all right? And many of them say, after the Lord has given these instructions, I am the Lord. Basically, just to make absolutely sure, hey, what I'm telling you counts. You better do it, all right? So let me just sum up some of them, all right? No unjust punishments. You can't show any partiality either toward the poor or toward the rich. Got to be balanced in between. No slander. Can't say anything that's untrue about somebody or something that makes them look bad. May not profit from the blood of neighbors. Wow, that one's got a whole lot of edges and corners to it, doesn't it? You can't hate your kin. You can't hate anybody in your family. You reprimand your neighbor when he is wrong. You don't just let them keep, messing up and doing whatever they're doing. You get involved. You step up. You may not take any vengeance, and you can't bear a grudge. You cannot bear a grudge. And written in all of those in Leviticus, the people are reminded to love their neighbors. Now that's Leviticus. That's the ancient law. These were the laws that were pretty much memorized and understood and debated by the Pharisees and Sadducees, the religious leaders of the days when Jesus was there. And one day, now let's go New Testament. One day, the Sadducees and Pharisees decided that they were going to test Jesus. Of course they were. And so they asked him, Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest? Now in the law, they were referring to the 10 Commandments, but they may have also been referring to some of these rules and regulations that were in Leviticus. They knew this stuff backwards and forwards. But Jesus, being the Son of God, also knew it. And he knew God's true purpose. He knew God's heart when it came to all of this. So this is what Jesus said. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So all of those ancient instructions from the book of Deuteronomy and Leviticus and Exodus and all these other places in the old part of the Old Testament were memorized and understood and debated by the religious leaders of the day. But they all came down to 2 things in the eyes of Jesus. Love the Lord your God the best you can, and love your neighbor as yourself the best you can. And Jesus also added one more sentence. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Basically telling them, anything you guys can think of is going to fit into those 2 commandments. Jesus was right about that. Way too often, we are so quick, we Christians, we learned Bible Christians, are so quick to point to one little tiny detail in one little page. And what we forget is the big picture that Jesus brought to us. Love the Lord your God with all your soul and might and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus said everything fits onto those 2. So if we're doing anything, including interpreting the laws, and we don't keep those 2 things in mind in our interpretation, I think Jesus was saying that's wrong. I think maybe it's as complicated as that and also as simple as that. And it's real easy for us to go, yeah, but what about that? That's the kind of thinking that can lead us into trouble. We don't need to be absolute about anything except love the Lord your God with all your soul and strength and might, and love your neighbor as yourself. And you better love that neighbor whether you like them or not. You better love that neighbor whether they're like you or not. You better love that neighbor because that neighbor's a child of God, whoever it may be. So, wherever you are today, keep those 2 great commandments in mind. And work on the details of your own faith and your own belief too. Your own love, your own life, your own heart. But keep in mind, keep it simple too.